Hi, I'm Turan, welcome to Cold Smoking. This is now part 4 of our taking a salmon apart, and just for speed's sake I've actually taken the second fillet down and taken the bones out of that so that we didn't need to see that twice. Right, what we're going to do now is we're going to cure these in salt so that they can become smoked salmon on Saturday. Now these are going to have to cure for a little while, probably 6 hours as a minimum, but near 8 I would say, given the size. It's usually the thickness that concerns you, so if you've got about 1 inch of thickness there, which we have, that's going to take a little while to cure, around about 8 hours. So we're going to be curing those in salt. Now the salt I'm using is just standard table salt, and the nice thing about using ordinary table salt, you can use sea salt, it's absolutely fine, you won't tell the difference, but you'll spend a lot more money on it. The thing I like about table salt is that it's got an anti-caking agent in it, so you can sprinkle it easily. It doesn't really clump. Although I think this one might have 1 or 2 clumps in it because it's been open for a while. But right, so we're now just going to salt these. And first things first, I'm going to put a little bit of salt underneath them. And the reason for that is that will absorb some of the moisture that's coming off these fish. We're going to put these in a big tray, and these will go in the fridge so it catches any moisture that runs off here. The idea of doing them on a board is that they don't sit in brine. Okay, so we'll just do this one as well. A little bit of salt underneath, that's perfect. And towards the tail as well. Okay, just make sure they're all nice and squarely on. That's absolutely fine. Now we do want to cure this, but we don't want to over cure the thin bits, and we don't want to under cure the larger bits towards the gill. So what I intend to do is I'm going to graduate the amount of salt I put on. A bit more salt at this end, a little less salt at this end, and the thinner parts will get less salt as well. And that's really just so that we can get a balanced cure. So we'll just sprinkle some over the whole salmon to start with. And we'll get a nice light coating on there. Okay, so we'll just work a bit on that thicker part, putting a little bit more salt, and you can see that there's more salt on the thicker bits than there is on the thinner bits. And we're not going to put too much more salt on this, that's about all we want to do really. Just a little bit towards the end there. That's it. And you can clearly see that there's more salt on the thicker bits than there are on the thinner bits. Same with this. We'll give this a nice even coat all the way up. Starting off very gently. You can talk to people all day about how to salt a salmon, but sometimes it's not until you actually see it being done that you think, oh right, okay, that's it then. Easy as that. And it is quite easy, it's not that hard. You've just got to make sure that you don't put too much salt on, because it's a very harsh flavour. You don't just have to do this in salt. If you wanted to, you could actually mix a little bit of sugar in with this, maybe even some chopped dill. That will give you some nice flavours going on there. That's all I think we need to do for this one. That's about ready. We can ditch the salt now. So this board's now ready to go straight into the fridge. I'll put it on slight tilt so that the brine will all run off one way straight into a receptacle, so that will catch any drips. This will salt cure for about 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours, and then after that we'll wash it off, and then we're ready to dry it again, so it'll go back straight into the fridge. And after 24 hours drying, this will be ready to go into the smoker. What will happen when it dries is you'll get this pellicle forming on the surface, and all that really is a thin, sticky salt glaze. And you can feel it when you touch it, it'll be kind of a bit tacky. And the purpose of that is that when you put the food into the smoker, that sticky salt glaze will help the smoke stick to it. So you'll get a really nice coating of smoke on that. Right, that's it. Next stage, we'll look back at the skeleton that we've taken the fillets off, and we'll try and harvest as much of that salmon as we can so we don't waste anything.